Getting this land back is, hard to put into words, but it's been a journey, especially for our people, our membership. And I feel for our people historically in 1906 and early 1900s, where the land was taken away from our people, or where our reserves, or where it put in pockets of reserves. And it was kind of overwhelming for our people. And the journey, it's been a long one, but it's been a fight that's behind the scenes of our leaderships of the day that really continued that hope for our people to bring these lands to come back to our people.
Getting the land back makes me feel very emotional because of the fact that I feel as though I'm doing the work of our elders. When we signed the amalgamation, we were doing that to protect our lands because the outside community, the governments were starting to take our land from us, and we thought by coming together we could protect our lands. But at the same time, they were still taking land from us. And so it was always the elders' desire was to continually look for more land. And so when our leadership started doing that, and I started helping with the addition to reserve process, I felt really emotional, but I also felt very strong. All we need to do now for the next 100 years is to teach our children this is our most important resource. How do we call our people home if we don't have a land base?
The land coming back really makes me feel really proud just to be Squamish. Just proud to be a part of this chapter in the history of the Squamish people. Makes me proud that, I did a little bit of work in relations. We all did a little bit of work in relations to this land coming back. So the feeling is really of joy, happiness, because it's always been about the land returning to our people. Our people belong and are connected to the land, and without the land, we lose that connection. I see this land used for about bringing our families back to the village. As one of the first ancestor villages, many of our families are connected to this place, and we have so many stories like Wichita and the Sinkite, Dr. Jim. The stories go on and on. So the land could be used to bring those stories and those legends and teachings kind of back, as well as welcome our families back home. And really about connection. Because colonization and legislative oppression has forced us away from these lands. As we get them back, we have to think about how do we uphold our teachings and our values as Squamish people as we think about building a community in addition to the community, but also bring those stories and teachings out so that we can tell the little ones that's who they are and where they come from.
For me, getting this land back means more facilities, more housing for our Squamish Nation people. We can use the resources on the land, the cedar trees for our ceremony, the weaving, the carving. It's a very exciting time for the Squamish Nation. I was fortunate enough to be part of the council meeting that approved the land coming back. It was very powerful, very emotional. Some tears were shed. I personally got goosebumps through a Zoom meeting. I still have goosebumps. It's just so exciting for the Squamish Nation and the Squamish Valley that this land is coming back to us. We can have more facilities, we can have more housing, and those facilities can definitely provide more programs and services for our community. ḵ'ánatsutstem, our land return, is the first of many for the Squamish Nation.
To me, getting our land back, I was on council at the point in time we received land in Stawamus, IR 24, and that was in the 80s. It meant to me that we can enlarge in our reserve the way it was before. A lot of our residents can't come home because we don't have enough reserve. And now there are lots available up there once the servicing gets involved. And we've been hoping for that for generations and for the future. I wish the ancestors that helped us were here to see the lands come back, because they did a lot of work to get it back.
They wanted to take the Indian out of us by not practicing ceremony, not having potlatches, not speaking our language, not singing and dancing, not even practicing our sion. And you know, there was always that fight right away, especially when the Indian Act was implemented, that we stand up for ourselves. That strength and pride was always there, and I'm very proud to be able to be one at this day, especially this beautiful 100 years of amalgamation, to be a part of it and hold that baton and prepare our younger generations for that too, so they're prepared and know that oral history that we've learned as Squamish Valley.